Thank you for joining me as we continue our exploration of A Course in Miracles together. I am here in Adelaide at my mum's. I got here a couple of weeks ago and I've been helping my mum prepare for her 80th birthday party, which was on Sunday, and it was great fun. My brother was here in town, and so it was really fun spending time with him and his family, so my heart is really full today. But it's been a couple of weeks since I did a video, so here we are. And so in today's video we will be reviewing chapter 21's section 6. We will be practicing lesson 46 together, and then we'll be looking at the principle of miracles number 14. So to that, let's go ahead and begin. I'm going to share my screen and I will click on Read A Course in Miracles. Clicking on the text, we scroll down to chapter 21, Reason and Perception, and we're in section 6, which is Reason versus Madness. And we'll read this together. Paragraph 1. Reason cannot see sin, but can see errors, and leads to their correction. It does not value them, but their correction. Reason will also tell you that when you think you sin, you call for help. Yet, if you will not accept the help you call for, you will not believe that it is yours to give, and so you will not give it, thus maintaining the belief. For uncorrected error of any kind deceives you about the power that is in you to make correction. If it can correct and you allow it not to do so, you deny it to yourself and to your brother. And if he shares this same belief, you both will think that you are damned. This could spare him and yourself, for reason would not make way for correction in you alone. Okay, so this paragraph again introduces to us the idea of reason and contrasts it with this other part of our mind. And so if we haven't made it clear so far, reason from A Course in Miracles' point of view is that part of the mind that knows the truth, that oversees the other part of the mind that believes it to be separate. And it's that part of the mind that is in error. So reason is the part that recognizes unity and does its best to correct that. And this is what this paragraph is introducing us to. And it's also reminding us that we have the power actually to make that correction. And so if we realize that there's a part of us, there's a part of our consciousness that has the power to correct a false idea that we are separate, the idea that we are this body, which is inherently untrue, because we've talked about in other videos how the body has changed over time. Again, this body is the body that you're sitting in now is a very different body to the body you were born with. So we are not our bodies. We have a body and we're not our bodies. So there is a part of us though that is constant. There's a part of us that is united and eternal. And so this is the part that the aspect of our consciousness that the A Course in Miracles calls reason can bring healing or correction to the part of the mind that believes itself to be this finite physical experience. And the paragraph is also reminding us that this is a shared experience, that we're not alone in the error of our thinking, but we're also not alone in the part of the consciousness that the A Course in Miracles again calls reason. All right, so to that, let's go to paragraph 2. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen again. Correction cannot be accepted or refused by you without your brother. Sin would maintain it can. Yet reason tells you that you cannot see your brother or yourself as sinful and still perceive the other innocent. Who looks upon himself as guilty and sees a sinless world? And who can see a sinful world and look upon himself apart from it? Sin would maintain you and your brother must be separate, but reason tells you that this must be wrong. If you and your brother are joined, how could it be that you have private thoughts? And how could thoughts that enter into what but seem like yours alone have no effect at all on what is yours? If minds are joined, this is impossible. Okay. And so this paragraph points to something tricky for the everyday part of the mind, the part of our mind that believes itself to be separate, that my guilt is mine, my bad behaviors are mine, they begin and end with me, my good behaviors begin and end with me, my successes are mine. What this is saying is that reason will tell us that we are not separate creatures, that we share a mind, we share a consciousness. If that's true, then enlightenment must be a shared experience. I think the easiest way to illustrate this is more from the point of view that if your mind is awakened, if your mind sees love instead of fear, innocence instead of anger, strength and forgiveness instead of betrayal, then your worldview changes. And so when your mind changes about the world changes. And so that's really what this paragraph is saying in its way. It's also handing our responsibility back to us, and that theme has come up again and again in these videos, that we can't withhold healing, which is really love. We can't withhold love from another without then withholding it from ourselves. Okay, so I think I'm going to cut myself off here, and let's see what happens next with the next paragraph. Okay, so I'm going to go back and share the screen for paragraph 3. No one can think but for himself, as God thinks not without his Son. Only were both in bodies could this be, nor could one mind think only for itself unless the body were the mind, for only bodies can be separate and therefore unreal. The home of madness cannot be the home of reason. Yet it is easy to leave the home of madness if you see reason. You do not leave insanity by going somewhere else. You leave it simply by accepting reason where madness was. Madness and reason see the same things, but it is certain that they look upon them differently. Okay, and so the Course is saying again that the mind is shared, that it's not isolated in your private body and your private head, your skull. It's saying that only if our minds literally were held, operated by and through the body, that our thinking could be separate. But because our bodies are just simply the appearance of separation, as we've talked about over and over in these videos, and the body is not our true identity, that the separation is an illusion, is part of the dream. And so madness is the belief in that dream. Madness is the belief in that illusion. So reason reveals to us then that the mind is just simply being expressed through form, in many different forms, as our brothers and sisters. And I want to say too that the healing arts teach us that every single action and reaction is still actually I was going to say a call for love, but I think that's the title of a book. But that's what the previous paragraph was pointing to too, that every expression is still love being itself and creating the opportunities for love. Again, these themes we've talked about many times in these videos. Okay, so let's pause here and let's go back to share the screen for paragraph 4. Madness is an attack on reason that drives it out of mind and takes its place. Reason does not attack, but takes the place of madness quietly, replacing madness if it be the choice of the insane to listen to it. But the insane know not their will, for they believe they see the body, and let their madness tell them it is real. Reason would be incapable of this. And if you would defend the body against your reason, you will not understand the body or yourself. Okay, I'm going to continue for paragraph 5. The body does not separate you from your brother, and if you think it does, you are insane. But madness has a purpose, and believes it also has the means to make its purpose real. To see the body as a barrier between what reason tells you must be joined, must be insane. Nor could you see it if you heard the voice of reason. What can there be that stands between what is continuous? And if there is nothing in between, how can what enters part be kept away from other parts? Reason would tell you this. But think what you must recognize if it be so. Okay, so we can ask ourselves, so what is it that I need to be realizing? What is it that I need to be believing? What is it that I need to be remembering in order to know the truth and to not be confused that what I am is this body, what I am are these emotions, what I am are these belief systems. The quantum healing hypnosis work especially shows us that what we are is vastly beyond this very small, seemingly chronological experience. So if you haven't, I recommend going back into my channel and listening to some of those sessions. It's an incredible experience and an enlightening one. All right, so let me stop here to go back. I'll share the screen for paragraph 6. If you choose sin instead of healing, you would condemn the Son of God to what can never be corrected. You tell him by your choice that he is damned, separate from you and separate from his Father forever, without a hope of safe return. You teach him this, and you will learn from him exactly what you taught. For you can teach him only that he is as you would have him, and what you choose he be is but your choice for you. Yet think not this is fearful, that you are joined to him is but a fact, not an interpretation. How can a fact be fearful unless it disagrees with what you hold more dear than truth? Reason will tell you that this fact is your release. Okay. So again, what is it? What is it that we need to be realizing? What is it that we need to be remembering in order to be able to see ourselves as united? That this experience is a shared experience, that there's no such thing as a truly unique and individual thought or feeling. That when we think of our brothers and sisters or we experience them, it's only within the parameters of our consciousness that we experience them. But without the physical senses, without the body, if we were to pop the body, and there you are, without the body, you're yourself, but without your body, where does consciousness go? How could love remain separate? Okay, let's go back. Neither your brother nor yourself can be attacked alone, but neither can accept a miracle instead without the other being blessed by it and healed of pain. Reason, like love, would reassure you and seeks not to frighten you. The power to heal the Son of God is given you because he must be one with you. You are responsible for how he sees himself. And reason tells you it is given you to change his whole mind, which is one with you, in just an instant. And any instant serves to bring complete correction of his errors and make him whole. The instant that you choose to let yourself be healed, in that same instant is his whole salvation seen as complete with yours. Reason is given you to understand that this is so. For reason, kind as is the purpose for which it is the means, leads steadily away from madness toward the goal of truth. And here you will lay down the burden of denying truth. This is the burden that is terrible, and not the truth. Let's continue for paragraph 8. That you and your brother are joined is your salvation, the gift of heaven, not the gift of fear. Does heaven seem to be a burden to you? In madness, yes. And yet, what madness sees must be dispelled by reason. Reason assures you heaven is what you want and all you want. Listen to him who speaks with reason and brings your reason into line with his. Be willing to let reason be the means by which he would direct you how to leave insanity behind. Hide not behind insanity in order to escape from reason. What madness would conceal, the Holy Spirit still holds out for everyone to look upon with gladness. Let's keep going. For paragraph 9. You are your brother's Savior. He is yours. Reason speaks happily indeed of this. This gracious plan was given love by love. And what love plans is like itself in this. Being united, it would have you learn what you must be. And being one with it, it must be given you to give what it has given and give still. Spend but an instant in the glad acceptance of what is given you to give your brother, and learn with him what has been given both of you. To give is no more blessed than to receive, but neither is it less. Maybe it's worthwhile taking this moment to think of someone, and it could be a pet, but thinking of someone for whom it's really easy to love, and let that feeling fill your heart, let that warmth fill your heart. Let that love fill your mind. Fill yourself with that unconditional love. So you're just bringing to mind someone or something for whom you have unconditional love for whom it's so easy to love. And now see if you can bring to mind someone for whom it's not so easy to love, it's a challenge to love, but see if you can extend the unconditional love that you feel for the one for whom it's easy to love. See if you can extend that love anyway to the one that's not easy to love. And one way to do that is to pretend you have amnesia. Pretend that you're seeing them there in your mind's eye as if for the first time, as if you've never seen them before. And be curious about what you see. Be curious about the look in their eye, the expression on their face, the way they're wearing their hair, the choice of clothing. And gaze at them as though, in your mind's eye, as if for the first time. And actually, if you happen to see them in person, you can practice this actually as well. But see if you can get out of your own way by extending the unconditional love to them. Invite God in. Invite the Holy Spirit in to bear witness, to be a partner. If you like, you can use imagination as the bridge to see Jesus standing beside you, a companion, a guide, a witness. And then ask, how can I see this person through truth's eyes, through the eyes of love, through the eyes of truth, through the eyes, the shared eyes of the Holy Spirit, and see what realizations come out of that practice. Part of the realization might include that you realize that, oh, there are parts of me that are just like them actually. The part of them that really pushes their buttons, I'm afraid that I could be that, or I'm afraid that others will realize that deep down I could be that. We're endeavoring to discover how we're not so very different, and that perhaps given the same direct experiences, the same history, meeting the same circumstances, having to deal with the same things, believing the thoughts that we're believing, we would be just like them, actually. And so perhaps that can be the bridge, that can be the pathway to seeing their innocence, for reason to fill the mind and to take the place of what the Course in Miracles is calling the madness. Okay, so from here I'm going to share the screen again, and we're going to continue with paragraph 10 and 11. The Son of God is always blessed as one, and as his gratitude goes out to you who blessed him, reason will tell you that it cannot be you stand apart from blessing. The gratitude he offers you reminds you of the thanks your Father gives you for completing him, and here alone does reason tell you that you can understand what you must be. Your Father is as close to you as is your brother, yet what is there that could be nearer you than is yourself? So again, this is saying we need to see ourselves in our brothers and sisters. So rather than condemn them, we find our sameness, our connection, that if I was believing what they were believing, if I had experienced what they had experienced, if I was holding the same thoughts, if I had the same feelings running through my body as them, then I would be just like them. And so it's through that connection that we free ourselves. Paragraph 11. The power you have over the Son of God is not a threat to his reality. It but attests to it. Where could his freedom lie but in himself, if he be free already? And who could bind him but himself, if he deny his freedom? God is not mocked. No more his Son can be imprisoned, save by his own desire. And it is by his own desire that he is freed. Such is his strength and not his weakness. He is at his own mercy, and where he chooses to be merciful, there is he free. But where he chooses to condemn instead, there is he held a prisoner, waiting in chains his pardon on himself to set him free. Okay, so it begins and ends with us, doesn't it? This is what this whole section is driving home for us to realize. Okay, so from here now we're going back to the home page, to the workbook for students, and we are at lesson number 46. And I'm going to go and have the narrator read this for us.
Lesson 46. God is the love in which I forgive. God does not forgive because he has never condemned, and there must be condemnation. Lesson 46. God is the love in which I forgive. God does not forgive because he has never condemned, and there must be condemnation before forgiveness is necessary. Forgiveness is the great need of this world, but that is because it is a world of illusions. Those who forgive are thus releasing themselves from illusions, while those who withhold forgiveness are binding themselves to them. as you condemn only yourself, so do you forgive only yourself. Yet, although God does not forgive, His love is nevertheless the basis of forgiveness. Fear condemns, and love forgives. Forgiveness thus undoes what fear has produced, returning the mind to the awareness of God. For this reason, forgiveness can truly be called salvation. It is the means by which illusions disappear. Today's exercises require at least 3 full 5-minute practice periods and as many shorter ones as possible. Begin the longer practice periods by repeating today's idea to yourself, as usual. Close your eyes as you do so, and spend a minute or two in searching your mind for those whom you have not forgiven. It does not matter how much you have not forgiven them. You have forgiven them entirely or not at all. If you are doing the exercises well, you should have no difficulty in finding a number of people you have not forgiven. It is a safe rule that anyone you do not like is a suitable subject. Mention each one by name and say, God is the love in which I forgive you, blank. The purpose of the first phase of today's practice periods is to put you in a position to forgive yourself. After you have applied the idea to all those who have come to mind, tell yourself, God is the love in which I forgive myself. Then devote the remainder of the practice period to adding related ideas such as, God is the love with which I love myself. God is the love in which I am blessed. The form of the application may vary considerably, but the central idea should not be lost sight of. You might say, for example, I cannot be guilty because I am a son of God. I have already been forgiven. No fear is possible in a mind beloved of God. There is no need to attack because love has forgiven me. The practice period should end, however, with a repetition of today's idea as originally stated. The shorter practice periods may consist either of a repetition of the idea for today in the original or in a related form, as you prefer. Be sure, however, to make more specific applications if they are needed. They will be needed at any time during the day when you become aware of any kind of negative reaction to anyone, present or not. In that event, tell him silently, God is the love in which I forgive you.
So good. So good, so perfect. Isn't that amazing? So it is through forgiving ourselves that we free our brothers and sisters. What a great reminder. This lesson is the answer for the section of the text we were reading. All right, so the lesson asks us to have 3 5-minute practice periods for the day, and it's a forgiveness exercise. So we begin by repeating today's idea, God is the love in which I forgive, and then we start to bring to mind the people for whom it's not so easy for us to love, who we actively dislike, the people who we find challenging, who push our buttons, people who we have difficulty with, and we close our eyes, bring them to mind, and we repeat, God is the love in which I forgive you, and say their name. And the purpose of this is to actually set the stage to finally, ultimately, forgive ourselves, to forgive yourself. So after you have applied the idea to all the ones who bubble up into your mind, then you repeat, God is the love in which I forgive myself. And then you can spend the rest of the practice period adding related ideas, and the examples that they gave is God is the love with which I love myself. God is the love in which I am blessed. And then there are more suggestions as well. So the form of the application may vary, but the central idea should not be lost. Some more examples are, I cannot be guilty because I am a son of God. I have already been forgiven, and so on. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen again so you can see the language. And as usual, just start to settle into this now moment, aware of the support of the floor, the support of the ground, the support of the furniture that may be holding you. And just start to settle into that support. Take a moment to give yourself permission to be where the body is, and you might now want to exhale. Just letting go. And that prepares you for the next inhale. And so you breathe in that delicious oxygen, that good energy that contributes to the next experiences that you're going to have. And perhaps there's room to allow a gentle smile to play on your face. And so when you're ready, let your eyelids rest over your eyes. I'm going to go ahead now and start the timer for 5 minutes. Starting the timer now. And so God is the love in which I forgive. And just starting to bring to mind people who are not so easy to love. And say, God is the love in which I forgive you, and say their name. List of unlovables seems to come to its end, you repeat to yourself, God is the love in which I forgive myself. God is the love in which I forgive myself. And now devote the remainder of the practice to adding related ideas such as God is the love with which I love myself, or God is the love in which I am blessed, and so on. cannot be guilty because I am a son of God. I have already been forgiven. There is no need to attack because love has forgiven me. I have already been forgiven. No fear is possible in a mind beloved of God. Okay, so that's our timer. And so when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Okay, so how was that practice for you? I would love to hear what you noticed. And so we're practicing this 3 times. I think the easiest practice periods are in the morning upon waking, in the evening before retiring, and then sometime in the middle of the day around lunchtime. And then the shorter practice periods may consist either of a repetition of the idea for today in the original or in a related form. And the most important thing is to specifically apply the idea as needed in situations throughout the day. That if you have any kind of negative reaction to anyone, as soon as you're aware of any kind of negative reaction to someone, then whether that's in person or just in your mind, tell them silently, God is the love in which I forgive you. Use you. All right, fantastic. So I'm going to go back and share the screen again. But yes, I would love to hear what this was like for you, what that practice was like for you. You can share in the comments. And again, this really is just creating the conditions for miracles. That's what the lessons are for. So sharing the screen again now to go back to the text so that we can look at our principle of miracles. We go to chapter 1, the meaning of miracles, the principle of miracles, number 1, and we're now going to number 14. And what I often suggest is to take a screenshot so that this is an additional idea to contemplate. So let's look at it. Miracles bear witness to truth. They are convincing because they arise from conviction. Without conviction, they deteriorate into magic, which is mindless and therefore destructive, or rather, the uncreative use of mind. Amazing. So my thought about that, seeing as the principle speaks of magic is that magic seems to be tied into the little will, the part of the mind that believes itself to be separate, that somehow it's responsible and it's trying to gain power. It has a feeling of manipulation around it, more so than surrender and humility, and stepping aside to allow God's grace and God's love and God's force to be the fuel for the miracle. Okay, that's my thoughts about it. I'm going to stop there, just in the interest of time. So thank you again. I love doing these videos for you and with you. And so again, please, if you have any thoughts, any resistance still, if anything doesn't make sense or doesn't feel right or land in a way that you would hope that this kind of text does, please share. We can explore that together. It has been controversial over the years. There's more to it actually that I'd like to present in another separate video, but yeah, so I'm curious, I'm interested in hearing your experiences. And so also, just a reminder, even though I'm in Australia at the moment, my schedule for the meditation classes and the natural healing self-help classes is the same. So the mindfulness-based meditation classes are on the third Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m. Eastern. And the meditation and natural healing self-help classes are on the fourth Monday of the month at 7 p.m. Eastern. And if you go to the website, elilacenter.org, you look at the calendar, click on the description, and the access links will be there, at least for the next 4 months. The access links are there, so you can sign up. Alrighty, so have a fantastic day, have a wonderful practice, and I'll see you next time.